Crowds of protesters in Cairo. So low, CNN staffers said the cockpits were visible. The show of force did not disperse the crowd. It is now early Monday morning in Cairo. Our Arwa Damon is there. And Arwa, the curfew has been extended an extra hour. Now due to start at 3 p.m. local time. But it is safe to assume another day of protests are in store. What can you tell us right now?
Well, we were just hearing chants from those protesters who are at the main demonstration site in Tahrir Square. A few hours ago, an indication of just how tense the situation remains. For about a period of an hour to 2 hours, we were hearing sporadic but fairly intense gunfire. We could also see the tanks and heavy armor being moved around by the military. Many people here expressing their concern to us earlier today that they feared that the days ahead were only going to be holding even more violence. The demonstrators' intent that their demands be met, and top amongst those demands that President Hosni Mubarak step down. There has also been, though, an increasing level of frustration rising directed towards the international community and the United States because they have not been seeing direct backing by other nations, direct backing of their demand. That is, there is a frustration amongst Egyptians that there is this perception out there that if it's not a Hosni Mubarak-style military dictatorship, that for some reason the country is going to be run by Islamists. Egyptians making the point that this is not an Islamic movement. This is a popular movement that has really brought together all levels of society, from intellectuals to those who are impoverished. And this is what Mohammed al-Baradei, a possible candidate for a transitional government, had to say on that point.
This is a myth that was sold by the Mubarak regime, that it's either us, the ruthless dictators, or a Muslim al-Qaeda type. The Muslim Brotherhood has nothing to do with the Iranian model, has nothing to do with extremism, as we have seen it in Afghanistan and other places. We need to include them. They are part of the Egyptian society as much as the Marxist party here. I think this myth that has been perpetuated and sold by the regime has no iota of reality.
While there is a fair level of concern as to what is going to happen next in Egypt's very tumultuous point in history, at this point, people are again emphasizing that same point, that what they are demanding is democracy, true free elections, because they hope that that is going to bring about another critical point here, and that is better economics and better social reforms for this country. Those 2 points very much needed, Anjali.
Presumably there is nothing close to resembling normal life at the moment. I'm guessing that people can't even leave their houses right now. They must be terrified. How are they getting hold of the things that are just basic daily necessities like food and money?
That's a great question, Angela. Actually, the banks have all pretty much been shut down. You can't withdraw money from an ATM. When it comes to food, we have been hearing numerous reports about food shortages. In fact, on some of the local networks, there's a hotline that people can call if they're running out of critical items, such as bread. We are also hearing reports about fuel shortages. When it comes to normal life in Cairo, there's very little semblance of that. Many Egyptians we're talking to saying that, while they do believe that there's change on the horizon, at the same time they can hardly believe that this is happening in their very own country. We were driving around earlier today down one of the main roads here called Pyramid Road, normally an area that would be bustling with activity. There, a number of shops, restaurants destroyed, the awnings torn, windows broken. Many people are staying inside. Those who you do see out on the streets are either the demonstrators or concerned citizens who are basically taking security into their own hands, setting up these makeshift neighborhood watches, carrying things like wooden batons, meat cleavers, even some carrying axes. We even saw a number of children carrying knives that were literally longer than their forearms. A lot of concern about possibly more violence in the future, a sense that citizens really not only trying to take the future of their country into their own hands through the demonstration, but the very security of their neighborhoods and their own families into their own hands as well. While there is this sense of excitement to a certain degree, there is a certain electricity in the air here. That is coupled by just as much anxiety about the future, Anjali.
Oh, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to speed on all the latest developments there. Arwa Damon. Now, the first days of these protests were not about the US, but the mood has begun to shift. Egyptians are now expressing anger not only at President Mubarak, but at the Western powers who supported his regime. Senior international correspondent Nick Robertson reports from Alexandria.
What they're saying is, get out Mubarak, you're a traitor. This organization here, this young man up here, leading the chant to get President Mubarak out of the country. But if you look further ahead, up the road here, I'm seeing something that I haven't seen on the previous days here. Sorry?
Yesterday they killed people with assassins out of it.
They kill people?
They kill people in Cairo.
Yeah, we spoke yesterday, didn't we? You're the professor of the politics. Tell me again, please.
Yesterday in Cairo, they killed people with assassins, with rifles.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And this is what we're seeing that we haven't seen before as well. Look, foreign governments, stop hypocrisy, stand for Egyptians and freedom. And people say they're getting frustrated. They want President Obama, they want other leaders to come out in support of them. They feel that the United States, European leaders are not coming out strongly enough in favor of the people. And that's what the call is. The call is to come out for the people. And the reason they say that is because they think they're winning. In all of this, people here are just very desperate to be heard and get their voices out. I'm sorry?
We hate him.
You hate him?
Yes, we hate him. We hate this person. He's an illegal person. He's very bad guy. He's very bad. He is not elected from the people. All the people hate him. He's supporting Israel. Israel is our enemy. We don't like him. And he's the first eye for them here. Israel and America supported him. We hate them all. We don't like them. This is the today. Go to hell, Mubarak. We don't like you.
So how do you get the President Mubarak out of the country? How do you make that happen at the moment?
Excuse me?
How do you get the president out of the country? Because at the moment he sees a demonstration
By revolution. Yes, by revolution.
It is revolution. It is revolution. Yeah. But who support Hosni Mubarak? The United States of America, the British government, and German government, and French government. Because United States, they stand beside Hosni Mubarak 100%. Because they know if Hosni Mubarak fell, the whole people in Egypt, they're gonna be free. They're gonna be free. If the people free in Egypt, they're gonna go free Beit al-Maqdis. They're gonna go free Palestine. They're gonna destroy Israel. The country who control the United States is Israel.
So again, the voice is very, very clear for President Mubarak to get out. Again, one of the voices emerging today in a very clear theme is people are very frustrated and angry with the United States and with European governments for not supporting the people here more.
We want America to support the Egyptian people, not the Egyptian regime. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very clear from people here. There are almost too many voices to hear and to talk to and understand everything that's being said. But the one thing that's very, very clear from everyone here, the frustration of the people seems to be growing and getting stronger, and their demands are getting louder. The problem is they appear at this stage still not to be being heard by the president. Nick Robertson, CNN, Alexandria, Egypt.
Many Egyptians are calling for the United States to take action. They say part of the problem is Washington's long-standing support for regimes like Hosni Mubarak's and a willingness to look the other way when it comes to human rights violations. But so far, the Obama administration is maintaining a low profile and advocating a peaceful, careful transition to democracy. On Sunday, US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spoke to Candy Crowley on CNN's State of the Union show.
There's no easy answer, and clearly increasing chaos or even violence in the streets, prison breaks, which we've had reports about, that is not the way to go. We want to see this peaceful uprising on the part of the Egyptian people to demand their rights to be responded to in a very clear, unambiguous way by the government, and then a process of national dialogue that will lead to the changes that the Egyptian people seek and that they deserve.
Is the United States taking a naive approach to the developments in Egypt? Well, Ilie Shaked thinks so. He is a former Israeli ambassador to Egypt. Earlier yesterday, Shaked sat down with CNN's Fionnuala Sweeney.
There will be no democracy in Egypt before the elections or after the elections. If there will be democratic elections in Egypt in the summer or in the very near future, this will be the first and the last democratic elections in Egypt. The Muslim Brothers will win the elections, most probably, because they are the strongest civil movement, the most organized.
And can Israel live with that?
I don't think that if the Muslim Brothers come to power, Israel immediately mobilizes its tanks to Sinai. No. It will be up to the Muslim Brothers. If they probably wish to cut relations with Israel, it will be at the top of their priority. They will cut relations with Israel. We will have to absorb it and to watch to what extent they act.
Well, Egypt's protests were inspired by a similar revolt in Tunisia, and there are other protests reported in Sudan. Angry over corruption and high prices, hundreds of students and others called for the Sudanese government to resign. The students clashed with